Hey everyone, Emir here. I wasn't a CRPG person. I used to avoid these games because I thought they were slow and full of menus. For this assignment, I forced myself to play 3 classics: Fallout 1, Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, and Baldur's Gate 3. I spent multiple hours on each, roughly 6 hours on Fallout, about 10 hours on Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, and plus 10 on Baldur's Gate 3 so far, and I documented everything: map design, camera and control mechanics, every spell I tried and where I used it, how I learned and experimented, how I customized characters, and what my companions actually did. In this video, I'll walk you through my experiences step by step, to good, to bad, and the weird. I will tell you what I did, why I did it, and what I learned from each game. Quick note on my approach: I didn't speedrun. I played like a normal player. I read dialogue, tried alternative solutions, experimented with weird spells and combos, and paid attention to world design. When something worked, like the weather lighting combo in Baldur's Gate 3, I stopped and recorded it mentally because it told me how the game expects the player to think. Fallout map design is raw and functional. You emerge from Vault 13 and the overworld is a grid-based isometric map made of tiles and nodes, town, caverns, and ruins. There is no cinematic camera. The perspective is fixed and the UI is very information dense. The map exploration but punishes carelessness. Travel is deliberate. You select a location, then you move there and may trigger random encounters. There is a sense of distance and risk associated with each move. Stretching your party across the wasteland means you might run out of action points during the next fight or trigger heavy encounters you are not ready for. That design forces you plan routes, choose stops, and use the world map as a strategic layer, not just navigation. Camera is static isometric. There is no free cam, no cinematic shoots, which is fine. Fallout never tried to be pretty. The controls are point and click with a turn-based combat layer. Movement consumes action points and camera limitations means fights are often close and claustrophobic. It creates a distinct mood and austere tactical survival experience. The games used special system. I put points into intelligence and agility because I wanted options based brute force. Skills like speech, lockpick, and science felt like substitutes for spells. Choosing different skills opened different dialogue branches and solutions. For example, high speech avoided fights and gave additional quest options. Leveling up gives skill points across big lists. It felt more like an RPG spreadsheet at first, but later I understood how those numbers translate to world interactions. Fallout has no magic, but its perks and weapon mods act like spells tools. Combat is AP based turn combat where you aim for hit locations and manage critical chance. My early death, I got killed by rats in the opening area. That taught me two things: one, micro level management matters, and two, the world is dangerous and expects you to be cautious. Example moment: I used a silenced pistol and aimed for a headshot with extra AP. It looks 2 rounds but rewarded careful targeting. That slow tactical pacing is Fallout's signature. The game forced me think in terms of resources and risk like tabletop encounter, which is part of the CRPG lineage. How did I learn the game? Mostly trial and error, plus reading the UI. Speech and lookpick quickly taught me that non-violent solutions are viable. I learned to avoid open fields, fights unless necessary, and to favor dialogue or stealth. The perk system rewarded specialization. If you committed to being a talker versus a shooter, the payoff felt tangible. Liked The moral grayness, the word really responds, the choice feel meaningful in a harsh way. Disliked, peace and UI, everything felt slow and clunky, which made the 6 hour section tiring rather than engaging. Baldur's Gate used pre-rendered isometric environments with lots of discrete zones. The world is a chain of scenes, towns, roads, and wilderness connected by travel. Map design encourages deliberate exploration, hidden caves, side quests, NPC hooks. Each area feels like its own diorama, a bandit camp, a lonely lighthouse, a crowded market. The level design emphasizes vertically via encounters, even though the camera is fixed. You have to read the environment for tactical positioning, traps, and conversion opportunities. Camera is isometric but with more detailed backgrounds than Fallout. The UI is mouse cliver centric. You select party members, issue commands, pause in real time. The real time with pause mechanics gives you both urgency and chance to plan. You can set orders, then unpause and watch the result. It's a hybrid that both rewards quick thinking and strategy. I made a half-elf mage. It involved choosing race, class, alignment, stats, and portrait. Early on, I tried to balance intelligence for spell power and constitution for survival. I also recruited companions who had their own classes and dialogue trees. Baldur's Gate 1's customization is less about visuals and more about mechanics and party roles. Your compy composition matters. A tank, a healer, a roach for traps, a caster for control. I learned to respect role specialization. Spellcasting is a book and prepper style. You memorize spells before a dungeon delve, and once used they are gone until you rest. This makes each spell feel precious. Here are you some of my real decisions. Sleep. I used sleep on a cluster of wandering bandits near Nashkel. The spell allowed me to shut down 3 threats at once and avoid attrition damage. Important because my party's limited healing made prolonged fights costly. Magic Missile. I use it early as a grounded damage spell against its floating, making a crypt. Because it never misses, it is my go-to for interpreting casters. Fireball. I used Fireball to clear groups in open areas but avoided using it NPC village to prevent central damage. The moral calculus of do I burn these people or finding another way is a recurring theme. I learned to prepare spells relevant to upcoming encounters. After a few wipes, I started saving sleep and control spells for checkpoints and using the party stealth rogue to soften enemies before committing spells. Baldur's Gate 1 reverse meta planning and composition. The party moments were the most surprising. Companions had personalities and approval mattered. In one fight, I made a choice that my party disliked and they actually judged me and left. That moment was the emotional turning point. I felt the consequences not as numbers but interpersonal loss. It felt personal and hit me more than combat that would. That taught me that CRPG consequences are social, not just mechanical. Liked companion death strategy of spell prep, meaningful choices. Disliked the UI and D&D complexity can be alienating at first, resting, long waits, break pacing. Baldur's Gate 3's map is alive. It's not a chain of diploma rooms. It is vertical, dynamic, and interactive. You can climb, vault, use the environment, and the game has physics rules. Level design intentionally supplies opportunities for emergent solution. Example moment A. In a coastal hamlet, I climbed a stack of barrels to get a high advantage. Pushed a chandelier and it crushes two enemies below. That since action turned hard fight into travel 1, the map gifted me solution. Example moment B. In an underground lab, I used environmental oil and fireball combo to clear corridor. The map had interactive barrels and traps that you could weaponize. Level design in Baldur's Gate 3 is imaginative. Places are puzzles with multiple answers rather than fixed fights. Unlike the fixed ISO camera of Baldur's Gate 1, Baldur's Gate 3 gives you a modern 3D camera with zoom, orbit, and cinematic close-ups during dialogue. This allows the game to sell emotions beats. Close-ups for betrayal, wide shots for scope. The camera plus face animations makes conversions feel like scenes from a show, which increases immersion and empathy. Character customization is insane. I designed a custom origin build. State your exact choice: high elf evacuation wizard or half orc battle mage. Customize this line based on what you actually did. I spent time choosing race, sub-race, background, class, subclass, ability scores, appearance, voice, everything matters. The background influences dialogue options and roleplay lines. I picked a background that gave me extra dialogue choice in social situations because I wanted to speech outcomes. Visually building your character and then seeing them perform during voice acted interactions made my roleplay decisions more organic. I felt less like a menu and more like a presence in the world. Baldur's Gate 3 encourages creative spell use and item combos. I kept notes of spells I used, why I used them, and where they had the biggest impact. I will give you precise, concrete examples from my planned season. A. Create water lightning bolt. In a ruined chapel with puddle pool and grouped enemies, I know lightning deals electricity that triggers when enemies are wet. I cast create water on the floor to douse the area, then place my casters lightning bolt to hit the group. The result: chain electricization and stunned enemies. Environmental aware spells turn fights into puzzles. Planning the elemental status of the map is key. B. Grease fire. In a bandit camp next to oil kegs, grease makes the ground slippery and flammable. Fire creates cascading damage. I greased the approach, pushed a keg, then ignited it with fireball. Several foes were knocked propane and burned. Punishing physics are the chain reactive hazards is more effective than brute force. These combos show you a pattern. Baldur's Gate 3 rewards imagination. Think like a tabletop player and the map rewards you. I learned by experimenting, trying weird combos, failing, and then internalizing rules. The game teaches by consequence rather than tutorializing everything. A failed attempt becomes the best teacher. I remember the first time I accidentally burnt my companion because grass plus fireball was not friendly fire, save in that close quarters. Companions in Baldur's Gate 3 feel like full NPC actors. They interrupt, argue, and plot. I had a companion who repeatedly complained about my more chaotic choice, and they would sometimes without help. One real moment, I convinced a NPC to spare a town. My companion thought I was naive and refused to assist on a follow-up quest until I did a favor for them. The social fraction creates dramatic tensions. Allies are not tools, they are characters that must be managed. The social negotiation layer is a major advancement in CRPG design. It makes the party a story engine itself. Two maps stood out for me. The Nautiloid crash site, early Baldur's Gate 3, vertical shapes, tiny puzzles, and sense of being overwhelmed. It forces you converse paths and think tactically early. Underdark style cavern, environmental traps and ambushes. I used invisibility to bypass most fights and turned a boss fight into trap-lying scenario. Each map felt designed to encourage creative use of spells rather than head-on fights. Liked radical freedom in combat, environmental interplay, cinematic storytelling, deep customization. Disliked some companion mechanics can be fragile, they get angry easily, and occasional performance issues. Otherwise, it's my favorite CRPG experience so far. Fallout, grid-based overworld, nodes and travel encounters, slow picking, risk management. Baldur's Gate 1, zone-connected isometric dioramas, scripted encounters, emphasis on NPC dialogue and party management. Baldur's Gate 3, fully 3D, vertical, physics-based sandbox maps, encouraging management solutions. Implication: map design shifted from navigation plus risk Fallout and sim-based exploration Baldur's Gate 1 to player toolbox sandboxing Baldur's Gate 3. In Baldur's Gate 3, the map is not just scenery, it's part of your spellbook. You cast spells into the map and map responds. Fallout, no magic, but strong skill perk analogs, speech, lockpicking, science, non-magical spells. Baldur's Gate 1 prepared spell economy, fragile, precious, spells that shape resistance and fights. Baldur's Gate 3 prepared spells but with rich interactions and physics, spells become expensive tools, not just damage numbers. Implication: the concept of spells as solutions measured from numbers and checks expressive environmental tools. Fallout. Personality via special and skills, stats shape conversation, options, and access. Baldur's Gate 1. Class plus alignment define roleplay lines, companions, add flavor and mechanical scenery. Baldur's Gate 3. Full-bodied roleplay, voice face background, your identity is present across mechanics, visuals, and dialogue. Implication: personal identity shifted from invisible numbers to embodied presence. Baldur's Gate 3 literally makes your choice visible. Older games teach through manuals and failure. Newer games teach by affordance. Fallout and Baldur's Gate 3 relied on player patience. Baldur's Gate 3 used clear visual feedbacks so you learn faster through experimentation. The emotional weird of choice evolved from text consequences to cinematic consequences. Baldur's Gate 1, companions leave and you feel lost. That was my first real emotional thing. Fallout, world level consequences, entire towns change attitude, cause and effect is bleak. Baldur's Gate 3, micro and macro consequences combined, companions scold you, NPC factions react, and cutscenes change depending on choice. To wrap up, these games changed me. Fallout taught me patience and consequence. Baldur's Gate 1 taught me emotional cost of decisions via companions, and Baldur's Gate 3 taught me imagination. To use environment and spell as a single toolbox. See you next time.